My sanctuary, invaded.
This is community property now.
You forged my signature, now face the consequences.
You can't just barge in here like you own the place. I insist on being admitted right now. A heartbroken widower's secluded haven was overrun by dozens of uninvited outsiders. The community association chairwoman smirked, clutching an agreement bearing my falsified endorsement. She figured she could steamroll me, but she had no clue I was a seasoned trial attorney in retirement. Her one careless online slip-up would end up costing her and the whole subdivision dearly. For decades, the scent of varnish and freshly cut lumber had been my solace. It became my lifeline in those dark days. At 68 years old, my life had revolved around two passions: standing in courtrooms, crafting airtight arguments as a lawyer, or on building sites, overseeing the rise of sturdy homes. After my beloved wife, Margaret Maggie to succumb to a long battle with illness, the emptiness in our longtime residence became unbearable. The stillness screamed at me, echoing memories I couldn't escape. I needed a fresh start, something to channel my grief into. That's when I stumbled upon this overlooked gem, a rundown bayfront cottage in a serene enclave outside Tampa, Florida. The area was famous for its homeowners association HOA that enforced rules with an iron fist. Many folks might shy away from such rigidity, but I saw it as a promise of tranquility, a barrier against the world's chaos. I craved isolation to mend my shattered heart. The property was in shambles, creaky docks jutting into the bay, shutters flapping in the Gulf breeze, but beneath the neglect, it had solid foundations. Maggie and I had always fantasized about a waterfront retreat like this, a grand renovation to tackle together in our golden years. Now, it was mine alone, but I vowed to honor her memory through it. I bought it outright with savings from a career of prudent decisions, then devoted the next 8 months to its revival. From dawn till dusk, I labored, scraping old paint, installing new plumbing, reinforcing the seawall against the salty tides. Each task was therapeutic, a way to rebuild myself alongside the house. As a stickler for legality from my legal days, I dotted every I and crossed every T. I secured permits from the county office, scheduled inspections for every upgrade, and meticulously documented the progress in a binder thick with receipts and photos. I even filed for a conditional vacation rental license on January 15th, just in case, stamped and official from the clerk's desk. It wasn't about profit. It was about control, ensuring this sanctuary was unequivocally mine. That sense of security shattered one crisp Saturday in late March. An email pinged in my inbox from Cynthia Whitaker, the HOA chairwoman. I'd crossed paths with her once at a community picnic by the clubhouse, where she flashed a too-bright grin. Her message dripped with saccharine politeness. She inquired about hosting a modest gathering for the Bayfront Welcoming Committee at my place. She lavished praise on my renovations, dubbing my home the jewel of the inlet. Flattery aside, it felt intrusive. I replied courteously yet decisively. "Thank you, Cynthia, but the cottage isn't guest-ready. Maggie's urn rests on the hearth, and I'm not prepared for social events." Honest and final, or so I thought. The following afternoon, I headed to the hardware store for some marine-grade sealant, leaving the place locked tight. Returning less than 2 hours later, my stomach knotted at the sight, my quiet lane clogged with florist vans and set-up crews. Bold signs staked in my lawn announced, "Event parking only," complete with the HOA emblem. I parked hastily and approached my front door ajar despite my triple check. Inside, strangers bustled, unfolding linens, arranging floral centerpieces, a bartender stocking a portable bar. A woman in a crisp uniform spotted me and beamed. "You must be the host." Cynthia wasn't exaggerating. This view of the bay is stunning. Stunned silent, I watched as she consulted her clipboard. "We're on track for the 6 p.m. start. Over 85 RSVPs so far." My voice finally emerged, gravelly with disbelief. "What gathering? I never consented to this." Her cheer faded as she showed me her tablet, a polished lease agreement for my property that evening, detailing catering, decor, and timeline. At the bottom, my electronic signature, identical to the one I'd used in countless legal filings. But I'd never laid eyes on this form. She scrolled further. "Cynthia forwarded this last week. Said you'd signed off." This wasn't a mix-up. It was a blatant intrusion, cloaked in community spirit. My mind raced not to panic, but to fortify. I strode past her, out to the wrought iron gate at my driveway's end, and secured it with a resounding clang. Facing the bewildered workers, I stated evenly, "I'm afraid there's been a grave error. No event is happening here. Please dismantle and depart immediately. This is trespassing." The lead coordinator protested about deposits paid, but I cut in. "That's between you and Cynthia. Leave now, or I'll involve authorities." My courtroom-honed authority brooked no argument. They began packing. Back inside, I dialed Cynthia at 4:45 p.m. She answered with feigned warmth. "John, thrilled you're embracing neighborhood vibes." Keeping composure, I replied, "There's no party. I've sent the crew away." Her tone soured instantly. "Don't be difficult, John. Everyone's excited it's just one night. Stop being so reclusive." Reclusive? For guarding my grief-stricken refuge, where Maggie's ashes sat vigil on the mantel I'd refinished by hand. This was power play, pure and simple. I hung up, then requested the coordinator email me the contract copy before they left. On my computer, I scrutinized Ida flawless PDF, but forgeries always betray themselves. I screenshotted it and emailed my niece, Emily, a sharp paralegal. "Urgent. Analyze this." While awaiting her call back, I spotted the anomaly. The forward from Cynthia was dated that morning, yet the event specs screamed pre-planning. Emily rang back swiftly. "Uncle John, this is sloppy forgery 101. She broke it down. PDFs embed metadata like a digital fingerprint creation date. Author edits. This one originated February 20th, weeks prior to Cynthia's ask email on March 25th. She'd fabricated it in advance, never intending genuine consent. Just then, another email arrived from the HOA. A stern notice fining me $1,500 daily for breaching pre-approved communal obligations and alleging a prior oral pact. My pulse quickened. This was orchestrated assault, fabricating a case against me. But they overlooked my defenses. I'd wired security cams upon move-in, capturing every approach with timestamps, stored cloud secure. Reviewing footage, deliveries, a stray egret by the bay, but 0 HOA visits. No oral agreement possible. As if scripted, a forwarded message from neighbor Billa Gruff, ex-plumber, who'd griped about HOA overreach landed in my inbox. It was Cynthia's mass email, Mr. Harlan's being uncooperative. Widowers can get prickly. Rest assured, I've secured access. Secured access? I hadn't distributed keys. Rage simmered, but I channeled it into resolve, gazing at Maggie's urn. They'd defiled my morning space with their scheming. Aloud, to the empty room, "You forged a lawyer's signature. Better hope you save the proof." The weekend blurred into focused preparation. By Monday, my dining table mimicked my old law office. Fresh notepad, coffee steaming, folder labeled Whitaker versus Fraud, Intrusion. Anger honed to precision. This was litigation material. I outlined irrefutable proofs, a blueprint for justice. First tip, cross-reference file metadata with transmission logs. The PDF's properties screamed February 20th creation, email headers traced to April 5th send. Anachronistic as a smartphone in a Western. Bolstered, I offered one olive branch. The HOA's quarterly assembly that night in the clubhouse, redolent of coffee and tension. I entered with a sleek portfolio. 12 board members ringed the table, Cynthia presiding smugly. During public comments, I rose, regarding the unauthorized booking of my bayfront home and the ensuing fines. Cynthia interjected silkily. "John, it's community building. You verbally assented." Unfazed, I addressed all. No such assent occurred. My cams logged no board visits. Murmurs rippled. Moreover, a counterfeit lease was dispatched, signature forged. Cynthia bristled. "Forgery's harsh. We've hosted in vacant homes via informal nod tradition." My cue. I unveiled documents. This public records poll shows 0 event permits for private residences in a decade. HOA bulletins confirm all gatherings at communal spots. Silence descended. Cynthia's veneer cracked to venom. I snapped my portfolio shut. Facts don't bend to votes. Forged pacts crumble. Exiting, Bill waited in the hall, fist bumping silently. Allies emerged. 2 days respite ended Thursday with a mailed missive. Cynthia's heartfelt regret letter, oozing insincerity, miscommunications abound. Attached, a waiver form conceding a misremembered chat and greenlighting future events, nulling fines. A snary if signed, I'd validate her fiction. I scrawled clever ploy across it, scanned for records. Friday morning, glossy pamphlets in every mailbox. Regrettably, Mr. Harlan retracts his pledge to host our inlet mixer. We're seeking alternatives. It smeared me as flaky, isolated, calculated ostracism. I archived it, recognizing desperation. That evening, my alarm chirped, garage motion. Feed showed two shadows testing the door, then conferring with Victor, the treasurer. Audio captured, locked solid. Victor, Cindy's furious. If he won't budge, kill the breakers come event day. He'll break him. Sabotage, plot criminal territory. I backed up the clip thrice. Second tip, chronicle all, especially threats. I phoned old pal Hank, a veteran electrician. Don saw us rigging a solar reserve for essentials fridge, cams, a can encasing the panel in fortified steel, with a concealed recorder inside. My cottage? Now evidence-proofed. Event day bloomed sunny, ideal for bayside frolics. From my study overlooking the inlet, I monitored the farce unfold. At 1 p.m., a party rental truck arrived, puzzled by the barred gate. Cars piled up, guests in sundresses milling confusedly. Cynthia hadn't canceled her hubris on display. By 2:30, her silver SUV screeched in, poise shattered seeing the lockdown. My phone rang, I ignored. Escalation, sheriff's deputies arrived, lights off. Cynthia gesticulated wildly. They hailed me via intercom. I emerged with dossier. Officers, this is civil, but review this. Forged lease with metadata mismatch. Access claims sans proof. Logs debunking visits. Pamphlet admitting consent's necessity. Deputies scanned, exchanged glances. Looks like a dispute, ma'am. Can't compel entry. They departed, Cynthia blanched. Digital fallout. Bill texted HOA chain erupts, she's unhinged, threatening regrets. Her facade crumbled publicly. Twilight brought her nadir. A blast email labeling me erratic, a risk, canceled for safety. Vicious libel, my capstone evidence. Printed bound. Case sealed. From fraud to defamation spree. Monday, 9 a.m. I filed in county small claims limit ample at $75,000. Defendants. HOA entity, Cynthia, Victor, ally border. Counts. Trespass, fraud, slander, conspiracy. Hearing 2 weeks hence drew a crowd. Bill nodded support. Cynthia's sighed. High-priced counsel, whispering urgently. Judge Ramirez, brisk. Mr. Harlan, 5 minutes. I presented solo. Your Honor, this is systemic assault. Exhibit 1. Lease, metadata predating pact. Impossible chronology. Judge-eyed Cynthia. Exhibit 2. Cam logs no visits. Fabricated dialogue. Whispers grew. Exhibit 3. Pamphlets, emails, defamation pure. Room tensed. Exhibit 4. USB of Victor's plot, criminal intent. Judge queried Cynthia. Did you author this? Stammered yes, but. Cut off. Metadata damns it. To counsel. Explain no DA referral. Faltering. Misunderstanding. Gavel. Plaintiff prevails. Full $75,000 joint liability. Under 4 minutes stunned hush. Ripples. HOA assessed fees to pay. My share rebated via insurance. Cynthia's ouster via petition. Emergency meets sans her. Resignation read flatly. Victor slunk away. Bill ascended presidency reluctantly. First act. Mandate notarized consents for private uses. Unanimous. Months on, varnishing a custom cabinet by the bay, I pondered. Bullies feed on frenzy. I countered with poise. Evidence trumping bluster. Cabinet done, I shelved law tomes below, Maggie's romances above, her urn beside our wedding photo bay sunset backdrop. New gate gleamed, cam equipped. Peace reclaimed, hard won. What do you think about the injustices and abuses of power like this in everyday life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you side with standing firm against such overreach? Or is there a place for community pressure? Let's hear your stance on handling bullies and unfairness.